Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Queen's Wish. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you chose to join me today because we're getting out of here. We're getting out of here. We're ready to do... Oh, I did it already. Play this game on veteran difficulty again. Beautiful. It's gonna be amazing. Hopefully it is gonna be amazing. Let's actually go back inside because I want to make sure that I have all my buildings built. Because we have a new team member, and everything is like re-thought of, and it's just gonna, it's great. It's great. Everything is great. I do believe that I don't have any more buildings built, which does mean that we are out of here. Now yeah, we're going over here. Do we have things to the south? We do not have things. What? Wait. The mist maze. How is that not marked? Oh, because they were very rude. They were very rude, so they didn't get marked on the map. So that's only fair, I suppose. Let's go have a chat with our quartermaster, I think, because we haven't done that yet. Dagfin. The trading hall of Fort Darkfin is mostly empty. It's waiting and hoping for a long procession of merchants and miners. The head trader of Fort Darkfin approaches. Greetings, Prince. I am Dagfin. Chief Torvik told me to help you if you came by. I can aid you in managing Haven's resources. Tell me about yourself. I am the quartermaster of Fort Darkfin. There's an awkward silence. Oh, you wanted more? Chief Torvik asked us to not engage in excess storytelling or sentimentality. Okay, for sure. I want supplies. Of course, we set up a bedroom for you upstairs. As for equipment, we have nothing better than what you already have. Yes, I realize that. And I can sell things to you, but I can't tell him about sentimentality. Sentimentality, that is an interesting word. Because what does it mean? Does it mean emotions? Or does it mean letting emotions rule your the judgment? Or does it mean only emotions that that are like nice instead of like anger and emotions like that? The tale of the Ukat swamps as told to Sage Garrett of Haven. Once in the days before the ache rose, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to clean my glasses because they were dirty. I'm sorry. Anyway, once in the days before ache rose, a band of Agriel blessed entered the southern Ukat. They were Agriel. Interesting. They were hunting our kind, which I believe is the Ukat, as they entered the Ukat land. As they entered, they were hunting our kind. They saw us as just more mirelings, not proper folk. This, because mirelings are not people. This was in the days when we were mastering ironcraft. Our hooked spears were new to the south, new to the Achriel. Our warriors hid in the slime, and they hooked the ankles, of course, of the Achriel as they rushed past. They fell and hobbled into the swamp, slow and hurt. Oh, so then they were slow and also hurt, because they were slow. Or, I mean, the other way around. They were slow because they were hurt. We kept them out there, and they rotted. This was how the Achriel learned to not hunt us. They still see us as mirelings, though. That's, yeah, we should talk about the mirelings, really. We should really have a chat about what they are. A tale of the Ukat swamps as told to Sage Garrett of Haven. This was my grandfather's time, after the Vol had stopped enslaving us and had instead turned on their own. Oh, that's, that definitely paints things a little bit differently regarding what they, their relationship with other countries. Merchants of the Brock went there to buy their stone. They were to build a mighty fortress. The Vol told them of ways to keep the stone from sinking into the mire, but they were all lies. The Vol never treated us honest. We bought the stone, the fort sank, and all the Brock efforts came to ruin. Always remember, this is the life of the Ukatish. The entire world is ringed around us, looking in, pointing at us, and laughing. Very, very obsessed with what other people think about you, then. The Sage of Fort Darkfen is all professionalism. She is stocking the shelves with blank scrolls, empty ledgers, and unused quill pens. She's ready for business, and a lot of it. That sounds threatening. She curtseys deeply when you approach. Welcome to Fort Darkfen, Prince. I am Sage Garrod, record keeper. I am just a scribe, alas, and I also study the Ukatish a bit. There is little I can do for you, but I will do what I can. What records do you keep? We plan to send lots of shipments of goods in and out of Sacramentum. We're going to make a lot of people rich, collect a lot of taxes, deal with lots of petty clan leaders. Each transaction, each payment requires a piece of paper. I also keep some of the battalion history. You expect a lot of paperwork? Piles, heaps, tons, mountains. We will build another wing. She's not very professional. We will build another wing of this fort out of it. The battalion's history? I'm just asking questions. I'm sorry. I'm very confused. The West Battalion has another name. It is the 5th Army, 6th Battalion. We have a proud history. We have served and lost warriors in dozens of vassal states, and we remember all of it. Yes. You definitely hold a grudge against the people that you're invading. That sounds appropriate. Sage Garrod shows you around her library and record hall. There are tons of ledgers and scrolls, as well as books containing the history of the battalion. This might be the cleanest room in all of the Ukat, because they're all dirty and stupid. That's the implication here. Everybody in this land is dirty and stupid, says the narrator. Also, our character says that as well. It's pretty obvious that this is our character thinking. You study the Ukatish. Of course, it is no struggle. They are fascinating people. This is a hard, dirty land. Apart from it being soft, because it's a swamp. Cold, disease, which is not what swamps are. I've said this before. This game has a really interesting notion of what swamps are. Swamps are hot, because the water. There's a lot of reasons why they would be hot. They also don't rot things. That's the point that I was making before. Swamps are extremely good at preserving bodies because of the lack of oxygen or something. Anyway, disease. I can't say anything to that. Disease is really just you being susceptible to things. Anything can make you go sick. If you are susceptible to it making you sick. Many of them die young. Of them? Oh, the people. The people, right. They are consumed by grudges. Not disease, fortunately. The fire of their anger keeps them warm. No, it's the swamp. The swamp does that. Where do these grudges come from? Olden days, of course. Vassals often have long memories. Vassals often have long memories. Considering that the Ukat wasn't a vassal state for very long, as far as we know, they are not vassals. They are just a country. Anyway, once they become vassals, their memory gets a +5. Children here, if they survive infancy, suckle on endless stories about how cruel the Ukatish were treated. Cruelly. Cruelly. You need an adverb. How did the Vol and Achriel treat them? Once, the Vol would capture Ukatish and enslave them in quarries. The Achriel, well, they are arrogant. They mocked the Ukatish, and stories tell sometimes hunted them for sport. All this happened centuries ago. We will never know which stories are true and which are false. I have collected some of them in my books. Yeah, this is what the game should have started with, and they wouldn't have been painted as snowflakes. They would have been painted as victims of colonialization, really. At the end of the day, that's what it is. But I don't... it really should have. The story of the Ukat should have been a story of people who are hampered by having been colonized in the past. And that would definitely run counter to any narrative that you would want to tell in regards to having Haven colonize this again. But I wonder why they didn't start with that. And even here, even right now, there's no mention of the colonization aspect. They just mention it as they enslaved them, which is a form of colonization, by the way. And also, well, it potentially has other implications, but it is a form of colonization. There's also no reference if it is chattel slavery, because chattel slavery is fundamentally different from just isolated forms of slavery. It's like it's fundamentally different. It does begin to necessarily imply racial. Well, it doesn't have to. As far as I know, chattel slavery doesn't have to be racialized, but the racialization of slavery is direct in real life history is directly related to chattel slavery. Chattel slavery does happen without, like in real life, does happen without well, I say that. I don't know of a single example of chattel slavery that happened without racializing. So I'm just speaking theoretically. Like, it is possible for you to just... Yeah. Nah, yeah, no, you probably do. I haven't studied India well enough. And I know they have a caste, even to this day. India is in all sorts of troubles, even to this day. But I think they have a caste of the caste system. I'm not sure what the lowest caste is, or even if it is appropriate to say the lowest, because it could maybe castes are not like maybe they're not necessarily vertically aligned. They could be horizontally, but still, the point is, I think there is a sort of caste system in India that has been slave-like, and that would be chattel slavery, because the chattel here, I actually never looked up the term, but I associate it, as far as I understand it, it has to do with just basically your kids will be slaves as well, and lack of mobility upwards and all this sort of stuff. That's what chattel slavery, as far as I understand it, that's what it is. So maybe in India, if that exists, it had chattel slavery, and it wasn't racialized, potentially? Although it may have been, actually. India has a lot of different people. Even to this day has a lot of different people. But I don't know enough of their story to say one way or the other. So, yeah. Yeah. Maybe you should have led with that, shouldn't you? Video game. Not really the... Of course, we didn't talk to Sage Garrett before, right at the beginning, but anyway. How are they treated now? At some point, the Ukatish became able to make vicious and excellent iron weaponry. They mastered techniques for fighting in the swamps, raids, tricks, traps, and ambushes. The Vol and Agriel have not hunted the Ukatish for many, many years. Do you have any advice for me? The Ukatish will always hate us. Yes, we're the colonizers. That's only fair. However, if we are cordial, they will make deals with us and keep their end of them. Of the deals. Their end of them. Their end of them. Just don't insult them. If you do, they will never ever forget. Be polite, even if you have to bite your lip until it bleeds. Politeness is not a universal constant. You don't know what politeness is if you don't know their culture. One of the... I don't know if this is true. I imagine it isn't. Or, I don't imagine it isn't, but I imagine it might be like a probably racist stereotype. But I remember when I was a kid, I learned that in some countries, and I think I remember where it was taught to me. I think it was Eastern Africa and Northeastern Africa and Middle East. That, but I might be wrong on that. I don't remember exactly, but that's the impression that remains to me to this day. Of course, I don't know this to be true, obviously, but But in some countries, burping is a sign of politeness. In certain circumstances, obviously, when your host has given you food and you eat and then you burp at the end, and that is a sign of politeness. That might also be related to the gender of the person, so I wouldn't know. But this was taught to me as a kid to just, sort of like tell me and my peers, obviously my colleagues in school or whatever, that the rules of politeness are all dependent on the society that you live in. There's a saying in Portuguese that I think English has it as well. Nah, English doesn't have the direct translation, but it might have a similar one. The direct translation of the saying in Portuguese is when in... Oh, yeah. When in Rome. Of course, English has it. When in Rome. The other part of it, I don't know in English. But the saying is when in Rome. It's interesting that English abbreviates a lot of its sayings. But either way, when in Rome is basically that meaning. You do as, you know, as the customs dictate, because that's how language works. And even though we're not saying things, it is still a language of culturally significant, of cultural meaning, you know, how polite you are and how, you know, it's the whole looking away. Does it mean that you're disrespecting them, or does it mean that you're respecting them? I don't know. Who knows? It depends. It depends a lot, actually. Chief Torvik, I did not talk to you. I probably should have, because I think he has missions for me. This large hall... Oh, no, I did talk to you. I forgot your voice, though, but now, well. This large hall is meant to be a major center of trade and political dealings with the Ukatish. All it is waiting for is the actual people. There is one Havenite official here now, setting everything up. He is the sort of bland, empty-faced bureaucrat you came to hate back in the palace. Which is ironic, considering you're the chief bureaucrat, as a prince, not chief, I suppose, but still, anyway. Muted. Muted. That word is not used to describe quiet people. That is used to describe desaturated things, when it's colors, for example. Or... yeah, muted colors, that's one, but I don't think there's another one either after that. That's... muted only really applies to things that have been muted, or that colors that are muted. I don't think it applies anywhere else, but I think it just means quiet. Officious and judgmental. Let's just skip that bit. Greetings, Prince of Haven. I am Chief Torvik. I hope your journey here was pleasant. I'm ready to give a report. I await your report. He checks his notes. General Ajax had difficulty getting materials through Ganelspan, so we were dropped off here by ship. Our fort is now established. When the Ukatish are our vessels again, we will be ready to immediately begin profitable trade with them. How have the Ukatish treated you? We were afraid that we would be massacred by the locals, but the Brock clan has welcomed us. Their protection saved our warriors from a lot of unpleasant exercise. What can you do for me? I know about the political situation. My knowledge might help you to return to the Ukatish to vassalhood. We also need more supplies. I think I know where they might be obtained. Thank you for your report. He nods. It was my pleasure. More polite words, but this bureaucrat is surely judging you like everyone else. I don't know why he is judging me. Walking around in chapless pants. Let's just make that canon. Jeff walks around in chapless pants. Wait. Is that the correct term for what I'm thinking? Do you know what I'm talking about? Anyway, look it up on Google. Not safe for work. Just so, yeah. Anyway, how did you come to be here? When it was known that a full prince would pacify Sacramentum, I was one of the chiefs personally selected to run your forts. It was a great honor. He shows no sign of pride or pleasure, apart from what he's saying. What was your early service like? He rattles off a list of the highlights. Chief Torvik has been blandly competent all over the known world, often in the face of constant warfare. Blandly competent. That is... I'm not even sure what that would be. I don't think I would describe any sort of competency as bland. But he has been doing that. Who selected you? I was chosen and personally briefed by Prince Sutter. Again, a great honor. Not that you could tell from his expression. The honor. He told me that I had a good... I don't know what... You must be really conceited as a person to expect that people, when they tell you that they are honored to do something, that they puff their chest out or something. What? Like, if they tell you it's a great honor, then it's a great honor. Why would you doubt that? Apart from, of course, there being a reason for them to lie. In which case, yes, sure. Even if they did puff out their chest, or maybe even, especially if they puffed out their chest, then you'd doubt them. You told me that I had a good temperament for this mission because of the special nature of the Ukatish. And what is that? The Ukatish are always quick to take offense. They can be very rude, these ex-slaves, they can, and they hold grudges for a long time, them being slaves, apparently. Some vassals require contact with officials who are very calm. You will find that I am difficult to rise to anger. What? I don't... It's not... I thought it was the problem that they rise to anger, not you. This is so silly. Oh boy. Apparently because he doesn't get upset that other people will get upset, he has been sent to deal with the people that get upset. What do you think of the Ukatish? They are consumed by a hatred on account of them being slaves a lot of the time. Of outsiders, the ones that enslave them, yes. Of themselves, because they couldn't... Of themselves. Because I say this because I am the person that makes them angry, probably. They talk to you, they're gonna be pissed. They're gonna be pissed. A lot of what he says is just... Yeah. It seems like part of their nature. Again, they are gonna be pissed. Nonetheless, they are hard workers. Pissed. And they keep bargains. So they what? They have nice stuff for cheap? Is that what you mean? Or do they keep contracts? And you're using bargains. Maybe they make negotiation. Maybe they bargain, is what he means to say. So they can still be valuable vassals. Sure. I'd like to discuss the Ukatish. Of course, a difficult and unusual people. Pissed. With a complicated attitude that can make them hard to deal with. Pissed off again. They are a clan-based society, and the strongest clan rises to the throne and makes all decisions. You will need to make sure that the clan who holds their home, Warren, is willing to obey their treaty with us. Tell me about their attitude. This is a hard environment, on account of it being soft and mushy, and it has made hard people... apart from them being painted as snowflakes from the beginning of the exploration, and now we know it's something else. The mud and disease makes everyone look down on the Ukatish, including the Ukatish. Pissed off. It makes them prickly and resentful. For more, I would talk to Garrett. He is upstairs. He's spent some time studying this unusual vassal. Tell me about their clans. There are many of them. They constantly divide, combine, and fight. They what now? What do they combine and fight and divide? Themselves? It's all I can think of. They constantly divide, combine, and fight. What? I mean, they are not... these are not necessarily transitive verbs. But they usually are. They usually are. This is the sort of... actually, it's not transitive verb. Is it transitive verbs? Yes, it is. The verbs that, for example... like, you can use verbs in a transitive manner. For example, I eat soup. The verb eat is transitive because it's referring to soup. But I can also say I eat, which is a different meaning to I eat soup. And it's it's grammatically different because it's not transitive. It's being used differently. Now, I divide is a very silly verb to use as a non-transitive verb. I combine is also weird, but less so. And fight is, of course, a lot. I fight. That's easy to. Anyway, most are small and insignificant. They are pissed off. They are full of importance in their politics now. The Eek, the Ganel, the Brock, and the Morgan. And I couldn't come up with better names, so they are going to be very difficult to pronounce. The Eek. You have met them already. They control much of the southern Ukat. They're mainly traders. They have few warriors and no interest in claiming the crown. For now, anyway. What about the Ganel? They are a powerful and dangerous clan. Much of their wealth comes from the controlling of Gandalfspan. I believe they attacked you there. They hate Haven and are only interested in driving us out. What of the Brock? They control most of the lands around us. They are a strong, ambitious clan, despite the Borgin and the Garnel raiding them. They are based in Chinde, to the east. It might be worthwhile to meet their leaders. What about the Borgin? The Borgin hold the home warren and the crown. Their leader is King Borgin the 53rd. All I know about him is that he is old. He seems to want peace with us. At least he has not bothered our merchants and envoys. You can find him in the home warren, far to the east. Meeting him would probably be interesting, at the least. Well, I have another question. So... Chief Torix stands politely off to the side. Please, Prince, if you need help, just ask. I'm here to aid you. He's so friendly and pleasant on the outside, but you can sense the judgment underneath this. What is judgment? He's judging me as supreme and adorable. I'm supreme and adorable, especially on my chapless pants. Let's discuss this fort. We are well established. Our defenses are strong. The Ukatish warriors are not skilled at attacking fortifications. We are under no danger now. We could use more resources, but that is always true. We are preparing for politics and trade. When the Ukatish are our vassals again, this fort will provide great value to Haven. Is there anything I can do to get more resources? In fact, there is a good opportunity in front of us. There is a swamp with good bog iron to the north. It is called Mukhala, and it is ours. Unfortunately, my scouts say it is infested with monsters. We don't have enough soldiers to march north and retake it, but you should be able to do that easily. We own Murkala? We purchased it with good gold, as opposed to the bad one, before Queen Shireen withdrew Haven from Sacramentum. They never paid us to regain it. Therefore, it is ours. It's fair enough. Why do we want Murkala back? Such swamps generate a good, constant, profitable flow of bog iron. The iron of the Ukat is their great wealth. If we had it, you would receive more iron to use to rebuild your forts. And where is it? It is north, in a particularly cold, murky, and unpleasant stretch of swamp. Of course. Well, that's all I need then. Thank you for your time, Prince. It was an honor, he says, without apparently puffing his chest out. Puffing. Puffing is a very commonly transitive verb. Speaking of transitive, we are at the end of the episode. So for right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Queen's Wish. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment. Like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.